Welcome back, everyone. A subscriber wanted me to go into more detail as to how fallout and iron removers work, how they remove the particles from the surface of the car, what are the particles, where does fallout come from, and what is the process chemically that removes them from the surface of your paint. I'm going to go into detail with all of that today. And as the chemical of choice we're going to use today, it's going to be the Gyeon Iron. So let's take a look. I'm going to get to the point, make this video short and sweet. Fallout is a general broad term. It can mean anything. Chemical fallout, metal fallout. Today we're going to talk about what we come in contact in the detailing world, which is iron. Fallout from brake systems, rotors, brakes, a lot of car parts. Back in the day, not so much anymore as we move to more aluminum and plastic, but your car can get transported from new on these heavier trucks like this with heavy braking systems, or rail cars, or the parking lot where cars are sold can sit next to rail yards, and up close, this is generally what these little particles look like as they get smaller and smaller and smaller. So, we're going to take a look at a vehicle that has ferrous metals embedded and has been there for quite some time. You'll see it here, these little brown specks. This is broadly and most commonly what they look like when they're there for a long period of time on light-colored cars. This particular pattern, I know exactly where it came from, and it was from the van itself. It's a cargo van. It's a heavy van that hauls around heavy 55-gallon drums, and when it comes to a stop, that takes a lot of energy, and a lot of ferrous metals come flying out of the brake system, out around the wheels and tires, and they come up around and attach themselves to the clear coat. So we're going to use the Gyeon Iron here. I'm going to spray some on the side of this vehicle. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about when you see the bleeding or you see the particles starting to break down. And there will be a pattern from the front wheel on back. This is common on the heavier industrial or work trucks. You will see this in a different pattern on brand new cars with 0 miles that have been sitting next to a major highway out for sale, or next to a rail yard, or maybe have been transported on a heavy truck or rail yard. And after a few minutes, this is the reaction that takes place. This is the bleeding right here, and you'll see the common pattern from the brake system. Now, the absolute best ways to remove it from here, I'll do them in order. A pre-wash with a great foamer that you know encapsulates dirt and takes it down the side of the vehicle before a contact wash. Number 2, a contact wash with a quality soap. Number 3, just pressure washing this off with electric or gas-powered pressure washer. And another method, which I'm going to use here, just to do a small section, so I can clean it off and show you that those red marks I showed you at the beginning are gone. Because I'm going to go over this vehicle twice with the iron remover. The second time around, I'm going to wash it off with some quality soap and a wash mitt. An old wash mitt I keep set to the side for this purpose. I'm not concerned with marring, as this thing is getting paint correction, and there is a little bit of marring that will occur if you do it that way there. You definitely want to rinse it off or use a good quality soap. But as we come in close, you can see all those brown and reddish spots I showed you in the beginning are completely gone. Okay, so the more common ingredients in these iron and fallout removers are thioglycolic acid. We're going to call that TGA for short, and citrus acid, and also ammonia. The ammonia is introduced into this formula to keep it more pH balanced as it's delivered from the container to your vehicle. When it comes in contact with the metal, then the pH sort of distorts a bit as an exothermic reaction, chemical reaction, breaks down the particles and changes their shape. And I'm going to show you here. When a particle comes out of the atmosphere in one way or another, which I explained at the beginning, and comes in contact with your paint, which up close is not flat, it's very rigid, it easily gets stuck in the clear coat of your car. As it sits there over time, it oxidizes slowly, and it forms very rigid exterior lines, which embeds itself deeper into your clear coat. So we'll spray the fallout remover onto the surface of your car, and the TGA will rapidly, through exothermal chemical reactions, it'll alter the shape of the particle, make it less rigid, so that way we can flush it out, we can wash it out, pressure wash it. Now, back in the day, one way to remove it was wet sanding. Just totally complicates and makes the job so much longer and harder. Another way, a cheap way to do it would be the clay bar. That just breaks it off at the top, or just rips it right out of its position in your clear coat and does more scratching. So you're going to have to do some paint correction after that. This way, the chemical way, through what I showed you there with the Gyeon Iron, you just spray it on, and that reaction is called bleeding. It turns the particle red. You can see exactly where it is. It breaks it down, changes the external shape so you can flush it right out of there, and it's gone. And you can move on to the next step of your correction and detailing. So if you have any questions whatsoever, don't hesitate. I'm always here for you guys. Brian from Apex Detail. Catch you in the next video.